Hi. For this week's clinical conference, we have KP, who is a 19-year-old female with a past medical history of a heart transplant and parainfluenza, who was admitted for possible concerns of transplant rejection once she started showing signs of her parainfluenza infection, such as coughing and difficulty breathing. She is currently taking Prozac 40 milligrams daily, which she feels is minimally helpful at this current time. Originally, when she was taking the medication, she felt like that it was helpful, but currently she feels like it's not helping. She also will be discharged on the day of our assessment, unfortunately, so we didn't have a great opportunity to intervene with her. So she was discharged today. We assessed her, and that was because she was found to not have heart transplant rejection. So that was good news for her, but unfortunately, we were not able to do very many interventions. On assessment, she's laying in bed in a hospital gown, and she appears to be in no distress. She has a persistent dry cough that is not productive and raspy in characteristics. Her family history is significant for quite a few mental illnesses. For example, her mother has bipolar disorder, and her father has schizophrenia, as well as her paternal aunt also had bipolar disorder. Upon psychiatric evaluation and review of symptoms, she endorses symptoms of major depression and bipolar disorder, as well as generalized anxiety. Her Prozac previously improved her symptoms. However, she has recently been showing some new symptoms of bipolar disorder, which she has never been diagnosed with. And her mom actually helped supplement our interview information and brought up that the patient had spent $3,000 when she had given her a credit card to buy cat food. And then the patient ended up spending $3,000. And this is very uncharacteristic of the patient. This is not something that she usually does. Also, the patient says that she has persistent mood swings that last for several days, as well as frequent mood changes. And her mother, even to herself, says that she believes that the patient has bipolar disorder because she has bipolar disorder herself, and she sees a lot of like bipolar disorder characteristics in the patient's behavior, but especially within the past year or so. She describes her current mood as okay, and she denies having any active suicidal ideations with an intent or plan. And she does, however, endure some passive suicidal ideations as always being there, but she doesn't have any plan or intent. So she doesn't plan to commit suicide, and she doesn't know how she will. So she just kind of always has them back in the back of her mind, and that's because of her major depressive disorder. So the plan for this patient is to discharge her from the hospital, given that she's no longer in rejection of her heart transplant. And our service, we were not able to make any medication changes given her anticipated discharge and her lack of psychiatric care in the outpatient setting. She actually lives up North Michigan, and I currently live in Michigan as well. And for those of you who don't know, Northern Michigan is very, very just like it's like a desert for mental health. There's hardly any services out there. So she does not have any services. She doesn't see a therapist or a psychiatrist. So it wouldn't be, like due diligence of us to start a medication, which we know that nobody would be able to maintain. So we did not start any interventions at this time. However, our social worker was able to assist the patient with finding some psychiatric services in her area, Northern Michigan, which she lives in Traverse City. And hopefully we can get her some services shortly after discharge. So for her mental status, her appearance, she's a young adolescent female. She appears her stated age, alert, and able to maintain eye contact during our interview. Her behavior was appropriate, engaged, and she answered all of our questions appropriately. Her speech, however, was a little bit slowed, but it was coherent and linear and goal-oriented. Her motor activity, she had no abnormal movements noted. Her speech was a little bit slow, but it was clear and articulate. Her mood she described as, quote, okay. Her affect was congruent with her mood, and she showed a full range of emotions, during our interview. She smiled, and she showed a little bit of sadness with her facial features during our interview as well. Her thought content, she denied any SI or HI. Her thought process was goal oriented without signs a flood of ideas or thought broadcasting. Her insight was poor, given that she did not share some of the very important key things that her mom ended up bringing up in the interview, and then her judgment was marginal. She does believe that she has a mental illness and that she needs mental health assistance. Major depressive disorder for Axis 1, Axis 2 is deferred, Axis 3 is cardiac transplant, and being very like chronically ill. Axis 4 is also being chronically ill with recurrent hospitalizations. Axis 5 is 75. All right, let me know if you have any questions. Bye.